Hi everyone! Happy New Year! Before I share my New Year resolutions with you, I wanted to show you this plant shelving unit I DIY'd. I've never learned woodworking, so this was a challenging project for me, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. This shelving unit is going to go between the window and my TV unit. I couldn't find anything that fits there that I can accommodate a few indoor plants, so I ended up making this myself. I'm not sharing specific measurements because you're likely to have your own design, but I'll share the process of creating this. Since I don't have any power tool to cut the wood, I made a note of my measurement and got the wood cut at the local hardware store. I used knotty pine, which is quite cheap, and I used one 8 feet long and 10-inch wide one. I find it helpful to make a drawing of what I'm trying to create and write down specific measurement. I used the painter's tape and wrote down which piece is which because it can get confusing. As always, wear your safety gears. I used a clamp and pre-drilled holes in the wood with a power drill. And then I screwed them together. You probably realized that I didn't use a power drill to put the screws in because, well, I'm gonna admit it, I'm still getting over my fear of using a power drill. But of course, you can use a power drill to put the screws in. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm kind of overdriving the screws slightly. So there's a space to use a wood filler. I don't think that's recommended necessarily, like they usually recommend you not to overdrive screws because it can split the wood. So, take precautions if you are going to do this. And I'm going to talk about wood filler later. Whenever necessary, I asked for help, so there's another person holding the wood when I'm, doing other things. After I assembled all the pieces, I used wood filler to hide the screws. You want to put generous amount because you're going to sand it later. When wood filler is completely dry, we are going to sand it. Again, wear your safety gears like a mask, gloves, and goggles. I bought this mouse sander this Boxing Day, and it is so compact and convenient to use. I started out with a 120 grit sandpaper, and then I finished off with a 220 sandpaper. I placed the shelving unit before I stained it, and it looked like this. If you don't want to paint, stain, or protect your wood, you can use it like this. I'm going to try to stain and put wood finish on it for the very first time for this project. Make sure you stain wood in a well-ventilated space and cover and protect your area. Staining can get pretty messy. Shake the can well before using it. I also stirred it with a wooden stick. I'm using this sun bleached shade, but it looks like light gray to me. I have this scrap wood piece here, and I'm going to see how long I need to leave the stain on before wiping it off to obtain the shade I want. The longer you leave it, the darker it's gonna be. I applied stain once, and after it was dry, I sanded it with a 220 grit sandpaper. And I apply the stain one more time. Then I let it dry for a few days. After that, I put water-based wood finish on it 3 times. I couldn't get it on camera because it kind of got really messy. But that's what I did. And you have to sand between putting the wood finish as well, so it's a lot of sanding. I used 220 grade sandpaper as well. The finished project looks like this. It matches the light gray wall shelf I already have in my living room, and it accommodates 4 different indoor plants I have. Have fun DIYing!